Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Here's Stani Army. I'm your host, Jimmy Yaska. And today I have Debbie, Omar, Hawkistan, Hamza, and Shazad with me. Well, I think I got Shazad. Um, and today we're going to be discussing everything and beyond the Pakistan squad announcement that was made yesterday. When I say beyond that, there will be a few questions at the end who are um, away from the squad. But before we get into the guests, I'll just announce the squad. The first of all, the two captains. You got Babar Azam and Azhar Ali. Your openers are Abid Ali, Fakr Zaman, Imam ul Haq, and Shan Masood. Then you've got Asad Shafiq, Fawad Alam, Haider Ali, Iftikhar Ahmed, Hushdil Shah, Mohammed Hafiz, Shoaib Malik, and that's your middle order. Your wicket keepers are Rizwan and Safraz. Your spinners are Imad, Bhatti, Shadab, and Yasser. And your fast bowlers are Fahim, Haris, Imran Khan, Abbas, Hasnain, Naseem Shah, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Sohail Khan, Usman Shinwari, and Wahab Riaz. So it's a 29-man squad. There's no Pacific T20 or Test announcement, but I guess you can look at the squad and say, yeah, there's certain players that are going to play Test cricket, there's certain players that are going to be T20, and some will be available for both formats. So I'm just going to move on to Hamza first, I think, and let's see what he thinks of the squad.
Yeah, I think overall it makes sense. There's a couple of areas which I think we'll discuss more in depth later, which is Haris Sohail dropping out and Mohammed Amir dropping out for various reasons. Surprised that they brought back Hafiz and Shoaib Malik again. I would have liked them sort of to try some new guys, some in the middle order. Fahim being brought back was a bit of a surprise as well. I thought they might give Amir Yameen a bit of a chance. And amongst the bowlers, I think Sohail Khan was a bit of a surprise. I thought they might stick with Musa Khan as well, sort of younger fast bowler. And I think from the spinners, I think Bhatti was a bit of a surprise. I would have gone for Zafar Gohar. But overall, I was quite pleased with the squad other than that.
Yeah, quite interesting. I mean, I know you picked up on Hamid Amir and Haris Sohail. Haris Sohail has picked up on the COVID situation. 3 West Indian players are backed out as well on the same situation. He's the only Pakistani. Mohammed Amir has said that his wife is expecting and he can't bring his wife back to the UK and he doesn't want to leave her in Pakistan by himself. So that is a family reason. Whether he would have been picked is a different thing as well because of he's not in the central contracts. But Deb, what do you think of the squad?
Yeah, I think it's got a good balance. I'm pleased to see a couple of the young batsmen in there, in Haider Ali and Krushdil. They did really well in PSL because actually, other than Imam ul Haq, they're all getting on a little bit, the batsmen, and I think it's time they brought some young blood in. And I'm actually really hope that we can get to see Naseem bowling in this country. I think he could be amazing. That I'm really excited about him being involved.
I think most people are. I mean, he's a wonderful talent. Him. Along with like Hasnain and Haris, I mean, all of them are 90, well in the 90s. And then you got Shaheen Shah Afridi. I think I saw a tweet today, talking about how good the Pakistan fast bowlers are, and then it ended with Shaheen as the guy who can do everything. So there's one could do reverse swing, one's quick, one's this, one's that, and then at the end it was like, oh, then there's Shaheen who can do everything. So I think that's his reputation.
I hope his fielding's improved from when they were here last year.
I think it has. He has worked very hard on it, and he's. I think during the World Cup, it wasn't perfect, but it's far better than what it used to be. Umar, let's go to you. What do you think of it?
It's the Sohail Khan inclusion I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't played international cricket for 4 or 5 years, and even when he does play, I think what better option would have been is Mir Hamza. I was thinking about this earlier. Was it last year he played county cricket and he did really well. So I think if they were looking for a bowler in these conditions, somebody that's played. I don't think he's the best. Obviously, we've got better bowlers than him, but like say horses for courses, I think he would have been a better option to say. He's considerably more fitter than him as well. So I think that would have been a good option. But overall, yeah, we got the usual suspects of Malik and Hafiz in the middle order. But overall, I think everyone's excited to see Haider Ali. I think that's the one.
Yeah,
I hope he gets a chance.
Yeah, I think what you should pick up that middle order, especially when you look at T20 middle order, I think it looks a bit weak. But let's see if let's go to Holkistan here. What do you think of it?
Really good. There's quite a lot of new people in there as well, and I just hope that people remember we had the Australia.
I think we've lost your sound here.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So in the Australia.
No, you've gone again.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can, yeah.
So in the Australia tour, we took quite a lot of new people there as well, and although it was a challenging tour, there was it was great experience for them as well. And I just hope that people remember that when the players come here, there's new people in the team. The ball might be moving around. It's going to be challenging for the batsmen. It's going to be challenging for the bowlers to figure out, where they need to bowl it, line and length, etc. And just to give them a bit of time. And also, they're going to be playing behind closed doors. And we need to remember that the Pakistan team are used to playing here. It's generally as if it's a home game. They get a massive support here as well. And, when we went around the World Cup last year touring the country, we had the one of being the 12th man. So they might not have, they're probably, 99%, they're not going to have that in the test. So it'll be interesting to see how they cope with that. So I'm excited about it. I'm really happy that the tour's going ahead. And personally, I just hope that we can finally put the Fawad Alam saga to bed. I just hope he gets in at least one test. One or two tests.
He should get one test match at least.
Yeah,
he needs to get one test.
Two innings.
Just one test.
Yeah, and then just see what happens, because the guy's been playing his heart out, and it's been going up and down over the past few years. I think he needs to get that. He needs to get that chance now.
Yeah, definitely. Shazad, I think you're muted, so if you can unmute yourself, you can hear me. And just going to move on to you once you've unmuted yourself. That's better. What do you think of the squad?
He seems to have frozen.
He seems to have frozen. We'll come back to Shazad in 2 minutes because he seems to have frozen. I was talking about the T20 middle order, and when you look at it, I mean, you're going to get Fakhar and Babar to open, so that's a given. I think Haider's not coming here to carry the drinks, so Haider Ali will play. So once Haider Ali's played, that's 3 done. I think he'll be playing at 3.
Yeah.
Then you've got the 4, 5, and 6 available. Now, they've got Hushdil Shah there, Mohammad Hafiz, Shoaib Malik, and Iftikhar Ahmed. I mean, that middle order doesn't... I mean, Hushdil, we know he deserves a chance. He deserves a run at the moment. That middle order, does it fill anyone with that much confidence?
I think that what we've got to remember here, before we start going into the middle order, is that if the 2020 World Cup goes ahead in October, November in Australia, I'm not sure whether we have any more international games planned after these 3 with England. So this is really going to be a testing bed for us. That any of the guys that we want to see, the Haider Alis, the this might be our only chance to see them in the national team. So we've only got 3 games. So it's really, really important that we try some of these new guys and give them that exposure in the national team to see how they handle it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I should have mentioned, obviously, one out of Rizwan or Safraz will play, obviously, and they'll be back in the top 6 as well. So, but it comes down to a point, have we I think in one of the questions that we've got asked later, if someone actually says, you know, should we have experimented a bit more? Have we sort of not sort of used this opportunity wise enough? Hamza, what do you think of that middle order?
Yeah, we should be all right. We've got the legends Mohamed Hafiz and Shoaib Malik coming in at 4 and 5. What are you worried about?
Legends.
What's it? Haven't you seen their records in England? They've got amazing records in this country. Back to seriousness. All right. Right. So back to all seriousness. Now, every time we do this, we've done this for 10, 15 years, where I've been banging on about, please get rid of Shoaib Malik. And in the last 5, 6 years, since Hafiz has not been able to bowl, I've said he's got to go as well. So I'm just going to imagine they're not going to play them for any of the 2020s, which is not going to happen. They're not bringing them to not play them. That's the problem that I have with them being here. Umar made the point earlier about Sohail Khan. I don't think they're going to play Sohail Khan anyway. He's there for the tests, and as long as Naseem, Afridi, and Abbas are fit, Sohail won't play. The issue with Malik and Hafiz being here, if they're in the squad, they're going to play. They're not going to come all this way just to carry the drinks as 40-year-olds. Yeah, so they're going to play. Now, in my head, I'm imagining they're not going to play. I would go with Babar and Zaman opening, Haider 3, Sarfraz at 4, Ifti at 5, and Khushdil at 6. Now that means Ifti and Khushdil at 5 and 6 are good hitters. And then you can have Shadab at 7 and Imad at 8. So that's basically 5, 6, 7, 8 that can hit. And 1, 2, 3, 4 who are good batsmen. So that's what I'd go with.
Debbie, we'll move from the T20s. We'll look at tests from you. When Pakistan play here, I mean, you know, they normally win games based on their bowling. But this time around, you know, Abid Ali, Shan Masood, they've been in pretty good nick recently. Azhar Ali is a very accomplished batsman. Then you got Babar Azam. He's on my sheet as I've got names written here, and then I've got him as the greatest all-time batsman. So I haven't written his name down. So that's how highly I rate him. And then there's Shafiq, and then obviously you got Fawad Alam or Iftikhar. One out of them two is going to play, and then you've got the wicket keeper, and then you got the bowlers.
You haven't included the captain in that. Just as
Azhar at number 3.
Right. Okay, had him at 3.
Yeah. So I mean, and then you're going to be playing your 3 fast bowlers and a spinner. So where do you rate Pakistan's chances for the test matches?
No, I rate them highly. I mean, as you say, I mean, they seem to like the London grounds, don't they? Which, of course, they're not going to have the option of. But I think they should do well. I mean, neither set it. Well, England will have played the West Indies, of course, but neither team have been full on playing cricket. But no, I think they should do well. And as you say, the balance has gone back towards the batsman, I think, a bit for Pakistan. England, you never know which team are going to turn up for England, whether the one that's going to be, they're all, you know, potential to all be out for 100, quite honestly, sometimes when they're playing test cricket, particularly against the level of bowling.
I think England, you get 1 out of 2. You're either going to get it really bad or you're going to get it really good. You don't really get the in-between with England anymore.
No, I think actually on the other side, England have at least sorted out some openers now, which is a good thing for them. But I think their middle order, will they have calmed down a bit in this downtime? I don't know. They were in one-day mode, weren't they? And you know, if I go back to the Ireland test last year, I'm afraid I was supporting Ireland on the day they were getting England out, knocking them down. Well, because do you know they just deserved it on that day. They deserved it.
Plus, Ireland
just skittled through them. Pardon? Are they playing green?
Yeah, playing green.
Umar, we just went through the thing. If you had to choose your 4 bowlers, so 1 spinner, 3 fast bowlers, I presume, unless you went with 4 seamers, who would they be?
For the test, there'll be Abbas, Naseem, Shahid. I wouldn't pick Yasir.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't pick. If we can, I'd rather pick Shadab for 2 reasons. Because I think even though Yasir's got this good test record, I think he's just finished. I don't know what's wrong with him. He can't get a wicket to save his life. I know Shadab hasn't been the best, but then Shadab offers a bit more with the bat and also a bit more in the field. So if we can't pick Shadab, depending on the pitch and depending on the conditions, I wouldn't mind going with Fahim. But I wouldn't pick Yasser. I think he's finished personally. Or if we want to be really outside the box, we could pick Kashif Bhatti, but I don't think he'll get a game, to be honest.
Well, you know what? I'm probably the only person who's ever thought of it in a different way with Imad. I've always looked at Imad. He's got a decent first class batting average, and his bowling's not too bad. And if the ball's not actually spinning, his darts probably could work. A lot of bat pads, LBW shouts, chance of bowling people. I don't think Imad's actually a bad choice for Test match. I think me and Hamza have actually spoken about that quite a few times, but I've never seen anyone else ever discuss him as a Test prospect.
I think it was about 2 years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's openly said he's basically he ain't fit enough to play 5-day cricket or 4-day cricket, and he'd rather.
Well, I can't remember that.
I do remember him saying, and he was like, I'd rather play the ODIs and prolong my ODI and T20 career. So I think that's the reason. But
I've jotted him down just as a T20 bowler on my sheet.
Yeah.
So I put players down what I expect them to do. It's just something I've always had in my head that he could be an effective Test bowler because he just darts the ball. If the ball's not spinning, he's doing enough just by using his variations, and he's more than handy with the bat. And I think at one stage, I'm not sure what his present first class average is, but he was around 40 or didn't it, Hamza, at one point?
Yeah, he can bat. The thing is, are you thinking about picking him as just the sole spinner?
Yes, because there'll only be one spinner.
No, I wouldn't do that. Thing is, he's really good in ODIs in 2020s because he's very good at containing. And if you look at a lot of his wickets, he gets them because he frustrates the batsman. The batsmen are coming at him. That's when he gets a wicket. If with Test cricket, it's different. The spinner needs to do something to get the batsman out because the batsmen are generally just defending or knocking you around. I think Imad, if you use him just as a sole spinner, he'll just get milked. I don't know how would he get a wicket? You know, the batsman would just have to make a mistake. I can't see how he'd get a wicket.
On the flip side, Pakistan, like England batsmen, that's how they bat, don't they? Even in Test cricket, obviously. Yeah, I mean they're virtually in one day mode all the time, anyhow. But that's just only England, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with just going back to Hamza's point. I agree with him that I'd be a bit wary about picking Imad as just a sole spinner because the ultimate thing for any player is Test matches, and that's because Tests are the hardest form of cricket. Full stop. You know, you can be good at 2020, you can be good at ODI. But Test is the pinnacle. And if you think back to all the great players that we remember, they were all brilliant Test players, full stop, whether in the past or even now. And then, you know, if you have a fast bowler and a spinner bowling, they'll just block the pace bowler, and they'll just start, as Hamza said, they'll just start milking him out for runs. So there's not going to be any pressure built at all. So I think that it's risky doing that with Imad, especially over here in England when it's going to be testing conditions anyway. But then going back to your point, Imi, about England, it'll be interesting to see who England pick as well. I mean, they've got the advantage that they're going to be playing 3 tests with West Indies first, so they'll be able to try out some of their players. They might be able to mix things up a little bit as well. So they have got that advantage. But also, I think it will give us an opportunity just to see them, just to see who they're playing. Are they playing well? Because you got to bear in mind, England are going to have to cope with no crowds as well. And this year is, although it's sad, I think this is where we might have an advantage because we've been playing in the UAE for 10 years in front of hardly any crowds, so we're used to it. Although you might think it's easy, just play in front of no one. England is one of the few Test countries that gets a really good crowd in every single Test. England are used to good home support. It'll be interesting to see how England cope with a dead ground effectively.
Yeah. Just moving on to Wahab Riaz. A little funny thing actually happened today. he actually retired from Test cricket, which I actually understood with Wahab because he was actually out the Test team anyhow for about 18 months. He had never been picked, so that's understandable. If you haven't been picked, you're not going to be sort of hanging around at his age. Yeah, he retired from Test cricket, didn't he? So
I didn't see that.
So, but like Misbah today said that there's a chance that he will play the practice game apparently, and if the team needs him, he might be available for the Test team as well. So virtually coming out of Test retirement, would he even make the Test team? I mean, when you've got Abbas, you've got Naseem, and you've got Shaheen Shah Afridi, and
I'd
then
rather play Ralph than Wahab.
Yeah, and then you've got Shinwari as well. I doubt it that he would make it, but it's an interesting one because what I'm trying to lead on to is Mohammad Amir. I mean, where do we go with Mohammad Amir now? Any one of you, Hamza, you could pick it up if you want.
Yeah, it's a delicate balancing act. We were talking about this a few weeks ago in our WhatsApp groups when Amir didn't get a central contract, and he sort of caused a bit of a kerfuffle after that, and was tweeting things. We were saying this should be the end of his career, and others were saying this isn't a big deal, that eventually he'll be given another contract. I personally think that someone needs to sort of manage him. He was out with a ban. The PCB stood by him, unlike Asif and Butt, for obvious reasons, because he was the 18-year-old. And I don't think he's kind of repaid them a little bit, but he's shown a sort of petulant side. We don't know the ins and outs of his retirement. Did he sort of discuss it properly with the PCB, or did he just turn up one day and said, I just want to play ODIs in 2020s, and didn't discuss anything and said, yeah, I'm retiring from Tests. So we don't know the ins and outs of how it happened, but I hope it doesn't cause a sort of big rupture, because I can still see Amir doing a lot of good for us in 2020s and ODIs.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, like I know we've got Naseem, and we've got Hasnain, we've got Haris, we've got Shaheen, but you always need that bowler who with that experience, that know-how, and Amir always brings that. I mean, I don't begrudge him at all. Your wife's childbirth is quite important, and obviously, as he's mentioned, he's lost his mother. But there's no other female in Pakistan at the moment.
Yeah, but it's quite important, isn't it?
I mean, it's the most important thing for a. Some of us might know, but yeah. We got Shazad back as well. So Shazad, what do you think of the squad? We haven't got Shazad back. We haven't got you back.
We got him, but not.
We have, but we haven't. So it's yeah, we were just saying. So it's a fine balance. I mean, it'll be a shame, if we lost Amir to, after 5 years and everything, we lost him again like this. So I'm hoping against hope that he gets a shout. But with Pakistan cricket, it's never a never, is it? I mean, we've seen players come back that are nowhere near Amir's class, and they've always made comebacks. But I think on the positive side, for example, I'll go to Umar on this. With Amir, it's like he's got the little push, because when you've got Haris Rauf, when you've got Hasnain, Naseem Shah, and you've got Shinwari, you've got all these fast bowlers. He can't no longer be like saying that he's an automatic pick, can he?
I was just gonna say that. How long do you stick with him? Everyone says, "Oh, we gotta give him." Like, I'm an Ahmed fan, to be honest. I'm pro Ahmed. I know a lot of people are against that. He's been picked. He's done this. He does that. But how long do you pick him? How long do you stick with him? And then you're holding back the other guys. Even like Hamza said earlier, Musa Khan, and then you got obviously the three automatic picks for me is Naseem, Abbas, and Shaheen. but how long do you stick with him until he
I think
starts to
that's the thing.
until he starts to hold players back. I think we
Yeah,
should give him to the World Cup. I think we should give him to the 50 over World Cup because if you look at it, essentially he's even in the 2009 World Cup he did brilliantly. I think even in the final he got Vilchena, who was on form. And obviously we know what he did in the ICC Champions Trophy. He performed very well in the World Cup here. So I think we should give him this T20 World Cup and then next World Cup and then take it from there.
yeah. I think Shazad, if you can just take off the AirPods, and we might be able to hear you. You're still muted at the moment. So hello, Shazad, can we hear you? Can you hear us? Maybe not. Okay. Moving on. Hulkistan, I'll go to you first on this one. The test openers. You've got Abid and Sean, and Imam is the third one. Now, Imam, he hasn't got a great first class record. Do you think that we should have picked him or should have gone for another opener at the time? Samir Simmons is the one that's been getting muted around, but I think there was a story not too long ago about him, getting caught eating chicken curry when he was supposed to be on a strict diet halfway through a game. I mean, it's the most Pakistani thing to actually do. But
Hardly
do you
a surprise,
think that?
is it?
No, it's not really. No, I mean it's still better than having Niani, isn't it? But would you have gone with him on as your test opener?
I don't know. I mean, it's not an easy one because with Imam, that he's got his champion limited overs, and he's making some scores on there, so that's fair enough. But on a test, that's we said before, that's a completely different ball game. In essence, you're coming in, you've got a shiny ball, the ball's going to be moving around a little bit as well. So can he handle that or not? And then are you going to want to put him into a test match here in England when you have Sean and Abid? So Sean's obviously got he's played all over the world. Abid is still fairly new. I don't think he's not tried and tested on the international stage yet. So I don't know. I mean, I'd be tempted to maybe try Abid for one match. Sorry, did you say to me at the start that we're playing a practice game first?
Yeah, apparently Bispa said that. That's actually news to us. I didn't think we were going to be playing a practice game, but we are. It might just be one of them practice games that we might be playing each other. Basically, the 29-man squad might be playing each other. I don't know that, but he mentioned a practice game.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'd be tempted to maybe try Abid first, just to see is there an opener there that that we've uncovered, can we rely on Abid rather than going straight to Imam? Because I think the other concern is that if you throw Imam into the test and give him the 2-3 test, and if he fails there, knowing our team, that might be the nail in the coffin for his limited overs career as well. There is that
the other way of doing it is if like Abid did the flop, and obviously none of us want that. I think we all want him to succeed because it would be great for our cricket. The other way is you just get Azhar to open the batting, and then you can play Fuad Alam. I mean, Hamza, what do you think of that?
Abid made some runs recently, in the home test he played. Was it against Sri Lanka or Bangladesh or both? He made some runs. I think it was against Sri Lanka.
Runs, yeah.
Yeah, he's scoring runs for fun, mate. He's on a hot streak right now. I don't know why people are doubting Abid. I used to doubt him a year ago, but in the last year that he's been in the team, he's been piling on the runs. So and people know how much I did not like Shan Masood, but if you're making runs, you're going to win me over. And he's been making runs, and he's looked tight at the top of the order. So Shan, for me, it's got to be all three tests. It's got to be Shan and Abid. I think the openers. I'm a big fan of just playing your openers all the way through the series and don't change.
We hardly ever start a series and finish a series with the same openers, but we need to start doing that because that's how you're going to create players.
Yeah,
you're not going to start with an opener and drop them off the next game and then expect them to come back after game 3 again. And then sticking with Hamza, and then we'll move on to everyone with this. Hello, Shazad. We heard you.
Oh, finally, I made it.
Oh,
Yes, we'll come to you in
hello.
2 seconds.
What are you doing?
Okay,
But
my
Hamza,
imports are given up on me, so I've just changed my.
okay, there we are.
headphones.
But yeah, Hamza, at number 6, because you know the way we're looking at it is Azhar 3, 4 will be Barber, 5 will probably be Asad Shafiq. Even if he bats at 6, either way, at least one place. Iftikhar Ahmed or Fawad Alam.
It's got to be for what for me. That guy's been dying. I don't know. He's going to be like someone who's starving at some camp or something for some food. He's like, I've been smashing it in first class cricket for 10 years. Everyone just talks about my technique. I always say, look, just give him a run. You know, see how he does. He can't do any. I don't think. I'm not a huge fan of Iftikhar Ahmed, to be fair, but he's done okay in the white ball game so far. And his first class record is okay. I think he averages 40. So that shows he can bat. He's not a mug with the bat in the first class game. So yeah, I'd go with Abid and Sean opening. Azhar at 3. I don't want Azhar moved into opening. It never works. You know, it didn't work with Dravid. It didn't work with Yunus. It's not going to work. And Azhar is no Yunus or Dravid. Keep him at 3. Barber at 4. Shafiq, move him up to 5. And Fawad at 6.
Mm-hmm. Deb, I mean, like, if you think about Asad Shafiq, what do you call it? Sorry, Fawad Alam, for example, would you like just think of a player who averages around 60 in first class cricket, but hasn't played a Test match after his initial 3 since
2009, I think.
You know, I think 2009, so over 10 years. Is that even like? Does that make sense?
Why does that happen? Why does that? I mean, as you said before we started, where's Samir Aslam? Why does this happen to these guys? Why don't they get booked?
It's Pakistan.
He's got a rubbish technique. People keep judging Fawad on his technique. That's all it is. He's got a horrible technique.
What does it matter? What does it matter?
I mean, I'm not
the only way you can answer that with technique, Debbie, is that look at Steve Smith and look at his technique.
Oh,
case closed.
Look at Yunus with his flamingo leaves as well. You know, and got a double century for it.
Chanderpaul, he finished with 50 as an average.
Umar, what about Imam? What do you think?
He struggled last time, didn't he? So I'd stick with Abid.
Let's clear this. I've never actually at any point said Abid should be dropped. I was just saying, I actually mentioned Imam as a third opener, and I was thinking, was there any need to actually bring him as a third opener? Shazad, we missed you all the way through. I'm going to quickly catch up with you. What do you think of the squad? Any surprises? Any players that you would have included, not included?
The overall scores looks good. It's balanced. With regards to openers, we have 3 openers: Imam, Sean, and Abid Ali. Abid is a potential future. I'm really looking forward to how Abid Ali proves his mettle. If they stretched, they could have given a chance to Samir Aslam, but I think it's already overcrowded with Abid, Fakhr, Imam, and Sean. In terms of middle order, I'm really pleased to see Haider Ali. He's a rising star, and I have really high hopes from him. Haris Sohail missed a big opportunity to prove himself. All eyes were on him to come back and make a good score. But I think now people will be looking forward to see how Fawad Alam performs and whether he will be able to cement his place. Regarding, I think we're discussing both Test and T20 altogether, right?
Yes, I guess so.
In middle order, Hafiz and Shoaib Malik doesn't make any sense. Usually Pakistan is a country good at teaching players at their peak, but I totally fail to understand how Hafiz and Malik always manage to find themselves back in the squad. Maybe they want somebody with experience to go with the squad, but their performance in England has been really, really bad. So they should have given a chance to probably somebody else. And there's so many other potential youngsters out there. For example, Zishan Ali is a good potential. Probably they could have taken him in the T20 game. Again, wicket keepers. Sarfraz and Rizwan, they remind me of an era of Moin and Rashid. It's really good to see both competing for their place, which will ultimately favor Pakistan. But as I said, I would have liked to see Zishan Ali selected for the
Zishan
T20.
Ashraf.
Oh yeah, Zishan Ashraf, that's the one. However, Sarfraz and Rizwan, they both may not be fit for T20s, I would say. But let's see how they get on with it. With regards to spinners, doesn't look very strong and rosy. Yasir has been out of form since ever, but we have been carrying him with us. I would have liked to see some more youngsters in the squad. For example, Omar Khan from Karachi Kings. He was performing well, but disappointed to see he's not been given a chance. Kashif Bhatti is more of an all-rounder, but yeah, let's see how he performs. I would have liked to see Omar Khan selected properly. Fast bowlers, I was a bit concerned with the inclusion of Sohail Khan, Imran Khan. Like they haven't been like top performance, but for them to make it back in the squad, a bit surprises me. I probably would have been nice. It would have been nice to see somebody like Musa Khan given a chance. At least, even if he's not given a game, it would have been good for his experience. With regards to Amir, I think people are criticizing him, but to be fair to him, his family needs him, and probably it's the right decision he's made. And also, if Sohail Khan can make a comeback, then surely Amir can as well in future. So Misbah clearly quoted that Sohail performed in 2016. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. So there's still high hopes of Amir. He will come back as well, and probably he will be included in the T20 squad for the World Cup. I think you earlier mentioned a few youngsters. They are good, like Haris Rauf, Hasnan. But I would say the weapons that Amir has, with the variety he has, the way he swings the ball, the intelligent bowling that he does, probably is a bit level higher than others. So even if he doesn't go to England series, I would like to see him in the T20 World Cup squad.
Lovely. Right, you know what? We're going to move on quickly now because we've been about 40 minutes in now, and we've got questions. So we're going to go to the questions. What I'll do is I'll ask a specific question. I'll think of who I should take it to. If anyone wants to add, just let me know onto the question. If you got something to say on that question, because it's some of them are quite interesting. These are just questions asked by people on Twitter, and I've got them in an order that I thought might be a good way to ask. The first one that I picked up was from Asif Javed, and he actually asked us. He's actually listened to us from Kashmir today, and he actually said that can you discuss Wasim Khan, Misbah ul Haq, Nadeem Khan, etc. The whole of PCB's had a complete revamp, haven't they? Wasim Khan has, in my opinion, he's done a fantastic job. There's people who are still criticizing about his salary, but yeah, I think he's paid back every single penny, and in fact, yeah, his donations now going to the groundsmen, ex-cricketers, etc. in this present climate, because he says that they need money, they need to feed their families. Absolutely remarkable guy. There's actually a thing about him that not a lot of people know, that he rejected a job for the ECB, a similar role to what he's got at the PCB. It would have been more cricket development, and it was virtually double the salary, as you can imagine, what the PCB offered him. But he thought it was his destiny and his right to go back where his parents' roots were, his ancestral roots. Hamza, I'm going to go to you for that. What do you think of Wasim Khan, Misbah, Nadeem Khan, Vakar Yunus, Mushtaq Ahmed? I mean, Yunus Khan as well now as a batting coach. I mean, the whole thing's been revamped.
Yes, I like the selections. I was saying to someone previously, when it comes to a lot of Pakistani ex-cricketers, a lot of them, you see them on TV shows and on Twitter, they're utter lunatics. But the ones that Misbah's sort of got around him, he's basically got the best of the ones from the 90s and the early 2000s who actually, you could tell, had half a brain and had some interesting things to say, some mushy. Yunus is a bit of a wild card, but I understand why they got him in, because he's got such a good record in England. As long as, and I think his relationship with Misbah will be key. I don't think Yunus will throw toys out the bus with to undermine Misbah. I would be shocked if Yunus ever did that. So I'm hoping he sort of keeps a lid on it and just focuses on his job and doesn't he's got a habit of making everything about himself. So hopefully he'll just stay in his lane. And Waka Yunus is a legend anyway. So I like what he's doing. He's basically got the best of the last sort of 10, 15 years of cricket minds and put them around Misbah. Yeah, so overall, Wasim's done a superb job. It was worth
anyone else want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing when you mentioned about the salary, Imi. So the people that are questioning Wasim Khan's salary, were they questioning 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago when you had all the hangers-on on the PCB payroll and you had them going all over the world as well? Were they questioning them?
They didn't fit the agenda.
Yeah, and I think that if people are questioning Wasim Khan for his payroll, they've got nothing else to attack him on. They can't attack him on his performance. They can't attack him on his,
Exactly.
anything else. So the only thing they've gone to, or they've gone to his salary cut. He's got rid of a lot of people off the PCB payroll. Yeah, so he, I think the figures will speak for themselves.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I think I'm pleased to see new faces in coaching area like Yunus Khan and Mushtaq Ahmed. Misbah had a lot in his plate. I think it will give him a little bit of leeway to think or focus on other strategies. Yunus can be a really good, if you remember in Test cricket, Yunus and Misbah always held the helm. They were in the middle saving Pakistan. So I'm just thinking kind of focus, like picture-wising the same. Both working together can benefit Pakistan a lot. So it's good to see a lot of support around him. It will ultimately help Pakistan.
Yep. I'm going to move on to question 2 anyhow, because there's 9 questions here. Farouk Anis is the second question. And he's asking about Hafiz and Shoaib Malik in T20s. And he's also saying that, I know the squad's mixed. And he's saying with Fakhar would Fakhar actually be a test prospect or not? Deb, do you want to?
I think he reminds me of Jason Roy when it comes to Test cricket. So no, I don't think Fakhar is a good option for Test cricket. I think he needs to stick to white ball. It's just such a different game, and I just don't think you can presume that because they're good at one, they can play at the other.
Yeah, anyone out here who actually thinks he could become a Test player. Yeah, I don't think
he actually made some runs in the UAE. He made some runs in the UAE against Australia. I don't know if you remember that. He started off quite well, but that wasn't the UAE.
It's one of them hit and miss, isn't it? Though you're always taking a chance. Hafiz and Malik, Umar. I think we're discussing with you. I think we're going to go to Shazad with this one.
No, Hamza.
I think I already mentioned Hafiz and Malik. It's T20 cricket. T20, it needs young blood. What's the point of carrying someone who is 39 years old? Doesn't make any sense. They should have given a chance to youngsters, probably.
Yeah.
They're the definition of hangers-on. They're the perfect definition of hangers-on. They just cannot let go. They can make money in the domestic 2020 scene. I don't understand why. It's a prestige thing for them. They get to go back to Pakistan in the restaurants. I'm the big Pakistan cricketer. That's all it is for them. It's prestige.
Right. We're going to move on to question 3 anyhow. That's by Raheel. And it'll be in the ticker very soon anyhow. Hokistan's I'm going to come to you first on this one. Safraz versus Riz. Who makes it in which format? So do you think one of them specifically for one format, the other one's for the other? Or is it one player? And was there a need, if they are for both for one format, was there a need to take another one when you can have Abid Ali as a replacement wicketkeeper?
So the thing is that with keeping, I've always believed you need to have a specialist keeper. You can't have a part-time keeper. I've always believed that I'd rather have a keeper make 0 mistakes and get out for 0. Keeping is such an important thing. So I was reading something today from a mister where he said that, we're taking Sarfraz as the backup keeper, and I 100% agree with that. Whether you've got Abid Ali can do a bit of keeping, that's by that's what that aside. I think it's a good decision that we've brought him back into the team. With regards to who plays, I'd be tempted to try Sarfraz in the 2020s. Maybe just try him there and leave Rizin for the tests. I'd be tempted to I'd split them like that and see how they go. But I 100% agree that we definitely should have brought them both over here.
Yeah, I mean, especially say, imagine the day before the game. Imagine the night before the first test. Rizwan actually got injured or with the virus and everything. He caught the virus or something. God forbid. I mean, Abid Ali in the whole test match, you're taking a massive risk, aren't you? You're basically saying, if he goes and drops Joe Root on a dark, and Joe Root goes and hits 100, that decides the whole match. We're going to go to number 4 anyhow. We're going to move on. I think we all probably agree that 2 wicket keepers are probably the right way. And Sarfraz has probably been brought back here to play T20s. It says Kaka cricket, so we got Kaka cricket now after Chacha. It said the new ball duo. So I'm going to ask Umar this one first. New ball duo. Naseem may struggle with no saliva, and that might reduce reverse swing. So do you think that it might be an idea to use Naseem Shah as an opening bowler and maybe use Abbas as first change just for his accuracy?
I was gonna say keep Abbas as an opening, but since you mentioned that, it is a good option because pace and swing. He will trouble the batsman, and obviously Abbas has got more experience with the older ball. So he can, like you said, with his accuracy, he might be a better option along with Shaheen. So Shaheen and Naseem opening and Abbas as the first change. But I still think it'll be a good test for Naseem. And even though the ball ain't swinging, he's still got the pace to cover the swing, to cover up if the ball isn't swinging, and he can still cause problems with it. So there are a few options there. But I think Naseem and Shaheen with the new ball.
Just on that, I just want to add that although they can't do saliva, I read they can do sweat. So they can put sweat on there. So it's not as if they can't. They've just got to find the sweatiest person in the team and keep throwing the ball.
I'm not sure which one's going to own up to be the sweatiest person in the team. I mean, it'll be quite an interesting discussion to have in the dressing room. Anyone else want to elaborate on that? I mean, like the saliva, the fast bowling effect. I mean, it's probably a decent suggestion that use your 2 fast bowlers straight up, and Abbas can do it for you as first change, because he relies more on accuracy, etc. As long as the ball's not going to be too old, and it's not going to be too old, you're not going to get Naseem Shah bowling a 7 or 8 over spell. All right, we're going to go to number 5 anyhow.
I'll just add on to that. Abbas is really good with the new ball, given his experience, and Naseem Shah is very, very new. I would probably keep Abbas with the new ball because he might be able to swing the new ball and he might be able to trouble the batsman with his accuracy. So it can put more pressure. If Naseem goes for runs, he'll be mortified. He won't be able to come back. So probably let's protect Naseem and put Abbas and Shaheen in charge.
Yeah. Number 5 is from Imad. Please discuss Samir Simmons. I think we picked up on it earlier on. Hamza, what do you think?
If you look at his first class and domestic record over the last year, it's not really, it's not particularly impressive. So he's not really done himself any favors over the last year or two. He's not, you got to pile on the runs. That's what Shan did. When Shan got dropped a couple of years ago, he went back into domestic, and especially in List A cricket, he piled on the runs. so that got him back into the team. He hasn't made many runs, and then from what I've heard, he's put on a little bit of weight as well. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I was more surprised that Shadul never got picked. I was hoping Shadul might get picked. I know we haven't discussed Shadul Khan yet. We're talking about fatties. Shadul Khan. Where's the other fatty?
Come on.
Well, we had Navi earlier, but he's gone. Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of them. I think if you look at the question properly in detail, because I didn't have it right in front of me, I had the briefing on it. It looked unfit, and there was a report about him about dismount coach after a match. That was the one where he was eating a chicken curry, hiding and eating a chicken curry when he was supposed to be in a strict diet. And, it sounds petty, but that's modern day requirements. You need to behave yourself. Number 6, we're going to move on.
Sorry, Amy, that's not petty at all. That's one thing that they need to instill in themselves. All the players, the ones that are in the squad and the ones that are on the fringe, you need to be a professional elite athlete. You can't be going around eating your biryani and rocking up here and knocking off, hundreds for fun. You have to be an elite athlete. You can't hit boundaries. You have to run the singles and doubles. Full stop.
They don't call him Hulkistan for nothing.
Oh no, he's not letting it go. Number 6, I'm going to go to Debbie with this, and I don't even know what the question is at the moment, but it's number 6. Players you think that were unlucky or hard done by, and also players that could have replaced them.
No, go to someone else with that one. I think the obvious is who could have been replaced. Hafiz and
we'll go with Shazad and go on then, Shazad.
Repeat the question again.
Players that you think that were unlucky or hard done by, and if there were players that you think that were unlucky and hard done by, who would they were replaced in this present 29-man squad?
I'll answer it the other way. To be honest, I feel Shoaib and Hafiz are unlucky to be picked because they will be performing 0 and they'll be embarrassed. So probably they're coming to embarrass themselves. So they should have been dropped and somebody else should have taken their place. There are quite a few youngsters which are performing well in the domestic. As I mentioned, Zishan Ashraf should have been picked. Maybe Sami Aslam, he's played in the middle order. They could have taken him probably instead of Malik and Hafiz. In terms of spin department, we have a lot of shiny youngsters. Again, I'll take the name of Omar Khan. I think he's been very unlucky to be not picked up.
Yeah, I don't
think the best performing spinner in the last Qaid-e-Azam Trophy tournament was Zafar Gohar by a country mile. He looked really good, left arm spinner. I would have picked him instead of Bhatti.
You know what? I was just going to mention Zafar, and he is such a very, very talented bowler, left arm spinner, and he can bat as well. And he's a gun fielder as well, so he does all 3. Plays for Islamabad United. He when you're picking a squad that is 29 people and they've got to play both ideally as many of them can possibly play 2 formats, he would be absolutely perfect. So yeah, I think that's one. We're going to go to 7, which is from Tanzil. I think a lot of you know Tanzil. Works for Sky.
Yeah.
And I've actually promised him that next week I'll have Tanzil on a show with us. So moving on to Tanzil, I'll give this one to you, Deb. Then, should Pakistan use the upcoming T20s as an experiment, i.e., Hushdil Shah playing, Shadab could be batting at 4, or should they just continue with the tried and tested?
No, they should experiment, absolutely. I mean, and I think what has been suggested there, they should do. Shadab is actually a very accomplished batsman, isn't he? Give the lad a chance. Yeah, definitely. I mean, a drop. Don't include Hafiz and Shoaib Malik. We keep going back to it again. Why on earth are they there? It's madness, really, isn't it? Absolutely madness.
We have moved on. I mean, like, for example, how many of us? 6 of us here. About 6 months ago, 5 of us were anti-Shoaib Malik and anti-Hafiz, and one of us was pulling out all the stats to defend him. But even him, as today, Shazad, we anti-Shoaib Malik. So yeah, we've converted everyone now. I mean, anyone else want to pick up on?
Shazad's cost them more than I have.
Shoaib did give me one of my most spectacular cricketing experiences last summer, however, when he managed to hit his own wickets. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I don't expect
Shoaib Malik, yes. Anyone else want to pick up on that?
Just to clear that,
should we have experimented?
On that note, I never favored them. I just wanted to prove a point. They were compared against a player who was very mediocre. I forgot his name. Who was it?
Hussain Talat.
Hussain Talat, yeah.
Oh,
That was the debate. That they are better than Hussain Talat. Yeah. But yeah, I never liked them personally, to be honest.
Let's move on, because you know what, we've only got 2 more questions. But anyone else want to say, like, should we have experimented?
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty unanimous. You know, I think with the World Cup round the corner, you need to try new talent and say. In fact, the 3 ICC tournaments we've won, 92, 09, and 17. If you look back at it, all 3 of them, you're going to see at least 2 or 3 youngsters that have come in. So, for example, Aqib Javed and Mushtaq Ahmed, Inzi in 92. In 09, Muhammad Amir was 1.
Yeah.
And then the 17, for example, you had Shadab and Hassan and Fakar, for example. And we've always only won tournaments because we've come into them with youngsters and we've been quite, daring. So, yeah, we should always be doing that. I'm going to move on to number 8, and that's from Hussein. And he's asking about domestic versus PSL. He's saying that, after one season, we end up seeing someone in PSL and we end up picking them. And there could be domestic performances that are getting overlooked over the last 2 or 3 years. Anyone that wants to pick up on that?
I'd agree with that, but then if you look at PSL, look at the players that have come out of it: Fakar, Shadab, Hassan Ali,
Haris Sohail.
Haris Sohail.
No, sorry, Haris Rauf. Haris
Rauf.
Yeah. Haris Rauf. So obviously, we know Test cricket is pinnacle, but so it's churning out the talent. It's just a matter of fact of nurturing it now. So they're all raw talent. Hopefully, more than tail off like Hassan Ali did.
I mean, if anything, I look at it that we've actually gone the other way. If you look at our contract list, the Test players, the 4-day players, are the ones that are getting rewarded. So if you're a very good 4-day player, you're going to get rewarded. But obviously, with PSL, they come out and they express it. It's a bigger limelight. And the other thing is, if you're playing with the Darren Sammys and the Colin Munros, etc., whoever was in the PSL, if you're playing with all the foreign stars and you're performing, you're going to get highlighted a lot quicker. Haider Ali being a prime example. If he'd never played for Peshawar Zalmi, we won't be talking about him today. He's under 19. Everyone be saying, he was an under 19s cricketer. So it's going to happen if you're going to be, performing in PSL at that standard. Number 9, and we're going to go to Hamza with this. Ahmad Butt and Amir Yamin as fast bowlers against Fahim Ashraf here. Should we have taken another fast bowler or fast bowling all-rounder, or do you think that, they're all here and then, but none of them are actually world-class? Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, we seem to have this obsession, and Misbah sort of flirted with all-rounders in his test team for a little while and realised it didn't work and reverted back to 6 batsmen, keeper, 4 bowlers. If you don't have a proper all-rounder like a Flintoff or a Stokes, don't bother with all-rounders for test cricket because they get exposed. You've got to be top. You've got to be able to get into your team with one of the 2 forms of the game. So, for example, Flintoff could get into the England team off his bowling, not his batting, but his bowling. Now, you get Stokes actually a bit of both. He can get in as a batsman sometimes, more as a bowler sometimes. I think right now is more as a batsman because his bowling's gone off because of his injuries a bit. With people like Fahim Ashraf, his bowling isn't good enough to be in the Test team, and his batting is no better than like Wahab Riaz. So I don't know on what planet is this guy an all-rounder. Why people think of Ashraf as an all-rounder? No one thinks Wahab's an all-rounder. Now, Amir Yameen, he's been hard done by. Again, this is the Fawad Alam problem here in Pakistan, which actually you get everywhere, where you look at a guy who's statistically doing really well, but doesn't get selected because he's not flashy. Amir Yameen is not as flashy as Fahim Ashraf, and I'm telling you this is 100% why Fahim Ashraf is more famous. He's got a good haircut. He's got a funky haircut. I'm telling you, Amir Yameen, he looks like a random guy on the street. He's got some 1999 hairstyle. If you look at Amir Yameen, he looks like some maths teacher or something. Whereas Fahim Ashraf's got a funky haircut, so everyone thinks he's good. I'm telling you, Amir Yameen, he's a solid bowler, and his batting first-class average is like 38 or something.
How old is he, Hamza?
20. They're the same age. Ashraf, I think it's Ashraf and Amir Yameen. If you put them against each other, they're the same age. In first-class cricket, Amir Yameen's got a better bowling average and a better batting average than Ashraf. But everyone thinks Ashraf's good because his bowling is quicker than Yameen. Yameen's a slower bowler.
I've actually seen
I'm telling you, people pick up on Fahim Ashraf because he's got a good haircut. That's all it is.
You should offer to be an agent.
I saw a tweet by Ahmed Yameen. You were just saying about being fanciful, and like there was a tweet about him and his brother in the village in the Grand Bind, whatever you want to call it, and they basically they got the cow and they actually like taking the milk out. So he's a very plain guy. You know, he's a very plain guy. And obviously, that might affect his. He's too humble, maybe.
Yeah, that's the thing about Yameen. He's so orthodox with everything. If you watch him bowl, totally innocuous. You watch him bat, totally innocuous. But his records stand that he's got better bowling average and a better batting average than Fahim Ashraf.
What's his bowling speed?
Goes for Ashraf.
Do you know what's Amir Yameen's bowling speed?
Who cares?
130.
I mean, he bowls around the 130 mark. I mean, it's not.
I wouldn't pick either of them for tests. I'm saying for the white ball game. If you're going to go with a seam bowling ball rounder
as well,
go with Amir Yameen.
I mean, just so we're finished with this, but I've got a couple of last minute requests. Someone's actually commented, it was Mo, and he actually said, like, as we picked up on Samir Simmons earlier, and he said the last time, like, he played, he was overweight as well, and he got 2 or 70s against, Broad and Anderson. So maybe, he might have been.
He got run out on 99, didn't he, at Old Trafford? Didn't he, when he made his debut?
Possibly.
Yeah, but either way, he got 2 70 pluses, as he said. So it's one of them. And the Akils asked us that where do you see Haider Ali batting in for the T20 team? I think I see him at number 3 anyhow. I think, does anyone else see him anywhere else? I think it's number 3. Yeah, and quite an interesting last question is Naseem Shah. Should we be playing him in what's it called?
T20s.
In T20s, should we be giving him a go?
100%.
If he's going to go to the World Cup, then yes. If he's going to go to the World Cup, then we should play him.
Yeah, I think we should.
I think if we are experimenting now, we should try him now. He's in the squad. We are playing T20s. He should be given a chance.
I do think, however, that he needs to be looked after. I think
he's got an injury record,
there's going to be a heck of a strain on his body as someone that, because his body is still growing, isn't it, at his age?
It is, and he's got an injury record, but so we need to take care of him. But if we're going to end up taking him to the T20 World Cup, he needs to make his debut before that. So
if you're thinking he's going to be in the World Cup, you have to play him, don't you?
Yeah, you've got to play him. I mean, I think it'll be in long term. I think it'll be one of them where you play him in more important games. So if you saw a more important bilateral game, you play him, and you sort of keep him around for tournaments and Test cricket. I think the Braves has put up something else here. Does anyone think that Azad is past his best? Anyone think that Azad is past his best?
He hasn't exactly aged well, is he? He's not doing a Eunice where his averages are shooting up as he approaches his mid-30s. So
But
he's not leading.
But he did have a good season for Somerset here, so I can see a good reason for him coming. He did play well for Somerset.
Yeah.
He's a Test captain. He's a Test captain.
And he obviously going to come, captain, so he has to come. But he did. I
think it might be a mental thing with him as well. Holkistan, we're going to take that to you. Do you think it could be a mental thing? I mean, he performed, and I think same goes with Shafiq as well. It's probably a lot easier to perform when you've got Yunus and Misbah, taking all the strain, off you. But it's a bit more harder when now you're the senior players. You've got to guide the other players through.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at some of the, the great captains of the past, not just Pakistan, but in any country, the ones that had legendary players, that's an easy job because you know that they're going to perform. But the ones that are captains with players that are up and coming, that's a really difficult job because things aren't always going to go your way. Players are going to struggle. If Naseem Shah is struggling bowling, for example, does Azhar Ali know what to say to him? Does he know what to suggest to him? Has he got a really good cricketing brain? Is he good tactically? Is he a good leader of men as well? So whether or not he's lacking in the mental aspect, I don't think so. He's been doing the job for a while now, so he's obviously built up quite a bit of resilience, and obviously dealing with the Pakistan media. He's been doing that for quite a few years as well. So I don't think that there's any issues with that. I'd stick with him. I think that he's going to be, this particular Test series. I really back him to do really well in this, but I think that the key thing is how he's going to deal with the younger members of the team as well. I mean, just going back to the Naseem Shah issue, for example, he's fairly new, he's a new kid, but you've got to remember that Waqar Younis is the bowling coach here. And if you remember back to Waqar Younis's career, he suffered a back injury right at the start, which is why he missed the 90 World Cup. So he'll obviously be there to give his experience to Naseem Shah, to help him as he grows, as he develops his skill, as his body grows as well. And who better to have there than Waqar Younis? We mentioned it that this is a coaching squad full of greats. Mushtaq Ahmed, he's been a spin bowling coach for England as well, hasn't he?
Yep, and he's joined the development squad, which is going to be interesting. So he's going to be identifying youngsters who he thinks that can be groomed to eventually play, international cricket, Test cricket, limited overs. I think we've got something. I think it's more of a comment though from Mo, and it says Fuad had a Chanderpur stance, so no reason to play. I think we've discussed this. It's like you're either on that side or that side. I've always been on the no side, but you know what? Let's get this over and done with. Either he does it or he doesn't. Yeah, so let's get it over and done with. And we've got Shabazz Khan, Rahat Ali or Sohail Khan. You know what, Rahat Ali, for me,
neither, none,
neither.
I mean, you had to fit the 29. They had to take another fast bowler. But I mean, Sohail Khan. In fact, on my list, I've written everyone as T20s, Tests, or both. And if I just go
to Sohail Khan has T.
All right, he's a T boy. He's gonna be the specialist T boy. He's not gonna play. We know that. Imad is a medium pacer. He doesn't spin it. You need a proper spinner who will dominate on day 4 and 5. Yeah, but does England, that's Bilal. Does England, really spin as much? I can understand that in the UAE and etc. It's just something we're putting out there. He's not going to play Test cricket anyhow, but
Marine Ali had some good days.
I don't know. I mean, he's not going to play Test cricket. I think it's just something.
I doubt it. He's just a specialist.
Picking up on.
Yeah.
But I think that.
Sorry, Deb, you were saying something. You can.
Yeah, Deb, were you saying something?
Yep.
No, I was just saying that Marine Ali has had some very good days for England, so I wouldn't say that it doesn't spin here. Marine's had some match-winning days, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, he has. Yeah,
more in England than people think.
I think I'm probably wrong there. The first 3 days, don't even. In fact, Yasser in our 2016 tour, Lords, he actually won us a test, and even at the Oval, he had a very good spell as well. So
took a dodgy
it was about 2 stones lighter then as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up anyhow. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thanks, guys. Nice to see you.
And I think the stream will finish in about a minute anyhow. But yeah, we look forward to doing some more. And I think with there be no fans, at least for the test matches for definite, I think it might be worth covering it, even if it's 2 people every day. Let's cover it during the test matches for our own analysis, trying to keep going, because without the fans being at the ground, I think the spectacle does lessen. But we do expect Sky and their wonderful team.
It'll be just like in the UAE. It'll be like we're back in the UAE, you mean?
Yeah,
it'll be like we're
just
back
minus
in the UAE.
just minus a few people from Peshawar who had the country toys around. Apart from that, it'll be exactly the same, just empty chairs.
We can have our own
There we
version
are.
of the verdict.
But yeah, thank you everyone for coming, and I think there's a leave button. Everyone can press that. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you guys.
Cheers, guys. Bye.